This is Alison Solven with Stamp Crazy with Alison, and today I want to show you how you can use the scallop topper punch in this really cute way with a card. In this card I've used two of them side by side and used it as a unique closure. But this is the card that I'm going to show you today. So let's get started. The first thing you're going to need is a piece of Daffodil Delight cardstock, and I've just made a standard card. But then I'm going to cut off 2 inches off of one side of the card, leaving 2 1/4 inches as the front panel. And I've got 2 pieces of cardstock. One is going to be the inside piece, and then this is going to be on the outside panel. I'll have the measurements at the bottom of this page. The first thing I want to do is take the Celebration stamp set, You're Lovely, and this is the image, I Think You're Lovely, and I want to take a piece of scrap cardstock. I'm going to use pumpkin pie ink, so I want to ink this up and just stamp it anywhere on my scrap piece of paper. I'm going to take my Deco label framelit, run it through the Big Shot and cut that out. When I do, I end up with this. I'm going to take the same framelit and I'm going to cut out 2 from the pumpkin pie cardstock. Next, I want to take one of these and cut them in half. So I just use the little points as my reference for half. It doesn't have to be perfect. I'm going to cut off the little tabs here, the points. Just get them out of the way. And then I'm going to turn this over, put some snail on the back, just to anchor these 2 pieces. So one's going to go on the bottom of my little stamped punched out piece, and the other one's going to go on the top. And you'll see that there's a gap, and that's fine. So just turn it over, and then you want to do it from the front just so you can line these up. Okay, and that's how it looks on the back. Next I want to bring in the 1/8 inch taffeta ribbon. This one is in Melon Mambo. It's one of the colors I'm going to be using, and I want to cut a piece. It's going to be long enough just to tie my front together. Now I want to put a piece of snail here. Now you may want to use double-sided tape. For the purposes of this demonstration I'm just going to use snail. Okay, so I want to have this near this side of my little tag, just like that. And then I'm going to put this piece right over top. So I've got enough snail on there, so that's fine. And I'm just going to anchor this on the back. So that just covers up the mess on the back, and that gives you a little tie for your card. So we can set that aside. I'm going to bring in my pieces that I'm going to stamp, and I'm going to put the front panel piece, so this piece here, I want it to line up with this piece just for this stamping. I'm going to separate them later, but you'll see why in a sec. So I'm just going to put that like that. I'm going to bring in my little stamped Think You're Lovely and center it, because that's what's going to be on the front of your card. I'm going to mark it with a pencil very lightly. And I can remove this piece, and then you can see this is where the top and the bottom of that little deco label is. This is one of the stamp sets that you can earn for free during Celebration until March 31st. It's called Petal Parade, and I'm going to use the elements from this to finish the card. Use pumpkin pie, and I've got this little image, I don't know what you'd call it, kind of like a half flower starburst, and I've got my little reference points here in pencil. I don't want to stamp below them, I want to sort of stamp in the middle of them. So I'm pressing so that the image goes on the front panel and the back panel. It does not have to be an exact science, just get it in a general vicinity. Press harder than you normally would without rocking your stamp, and then you'll see when I bring this back in, that's just going to fit right there. So it's showing on either side. And next I'm just going to decorate the front. I've got another image in Daffodil Delight, and I'm going to just stamp it in a couple of places. I can actually separate these now because it's not as imperative that they line up, because nothing else is going to go over on both. I'm just going to kind of eyeball where you think this might look nice, just like that. My third color is Melon Mambo. That matches the ribbon that we used earlier. I'm going to use this little star bursty type flower. So just like so. And that's all the stamping that I'm going to do, so I can now set these pieces aside. Okay, now it's time to just put these together. So remember, I cut off 2 inches, which left me with a 2 1/4 inch panel here. And that's for my little piece here. Before I can attach this piece to the inside, I've got to make the little punch that I can stick underneath the flap here. So I'm going to bring in my scallop topper punch here, and I've got a piece of cardstock. It's 2 inches wide. It doesn't matter how long it is, it's 2 inches wide, and it's scored at 1 inch. I'm going to stick that in, a little channel and punch, and it just punches it out perfectly for you. And then when I fold it on the score line, this is the piece that I can stick under here. It's going to line up with my little tag here to close my card. You can see where I've just attached that underneath that piece. For your front piece, you want to make sure that you only put glue on half, the half that's going to stick to this. Just line it up. And then you can just thread this through here, like so, and tie a little bow. The last element I want to do is a little flower for here. This is the 7/8 inch scallop punch, and then this is a little punch that comes with the Itty Bitty punch pack. So I've punched out the larger one in the Melon Mambo, and then a little one in the pumpkin pie. And I've cut every second little scallop to create a little focal point, so I could just kind of bend this up and make it a little more dimensional. And then that just gets stuck on with a glue dot. This little guy, just so he's not so flat, I just took my stylus and I'm just pressing the inside just to give it a little bit of a dimension. And again, glue dot. And the last thing I want to do is add some rhinestones. I add one to the center of this, and I can add one to the center of this yellow flower. So that's the finished card. Thank you so much for joining me today, and I hope